Hi, welcome to this course on Python, and in this video we shall be talking about Matplotlib. In the last video we talked about the basic concepts of data visualization. Okay, we understand that data visualization is powerful. We need to plot some charts in order to get insights from the data. But how are we going to do that? Well, to do that techniques, to perform data visualization techniques, there are various libraries in Python, and there are various automated libraries as well which are popping up day by day. Well, talking about some of these libraries, one of the most important library is Matplotlib. Another important library is Seaborn, which we shall be talking about in the next video. In this video we shall be focused on Matplotlib and how to plot various charts using Matplotlib. So let's get started. Well, Matplotlib is a library used for graphical representation of values. Installation is very simple, as I've already discussed in the previous classes as well, that in the latest Python versions, Matplotlib, Pandas, NumPy, they come as a package. They are pre-installed in the Python library, in the Python itself. So you might not have to install it. But in case you are getting some issues while importing this library, then you can do the installation very easily from the command line pip install matplotlib, and then your matplotlib will be installed. To use matplotlib, you can use import matplotlib as plt, where plt is nothing but your alias, right? Now suppose we have to populate our previous lists. So this is one of the examples how to use Matplotlib. Well, when it comes to the Python code part, I will explain you in details. There are various charts or type of charts which are available inside Matplotlib. Well, again, there are tons and tons of charts which will not be able to cover in this video, but I will make sure you understand the usage of this library. Once you understand the usage of it, once you understand some of the methods available inside Matplotlib, that will make your life easier, and then you can further practice by yourself to get to know more about the other methods inside Matplotlib library. Matplotlib, you can easily plot histograms. Histograms are nothing but it measures frequency distribution of data. Area or bar charts represent a number of observations for different categories. And we have pie charts, which we all know it represents the percentage of data by each category. Okay, and there are various other charts as well which we will be talking about. So let's quickly jump into the code part. So talking about the code part, whenever we start working on any of the data analytics or data science activities when it comes to Python, the first three libraries that we import is NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. These are three brothers which are used in each and every activity. So closing your eyes, when you start writing a code, your first three lines should be import NumPy, import Pandas, and import Matplotlib. Well, I have done that. And after that, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a dictionary where my key is year and my pair are these values, my values. And another key is exchange rate, and these are the values. Now, if I run this, let's say I will create a different cell for that. And if I run this, and if I print my data, this is how my data looks like. Okay, if you want to see what is the type of data, the type of data is dictionary. And how do we deal with dictionaries? We have already covered in the previous classes. So now our first aim is to convert a dictionary to a pandas data frame. Only when it is converted into a pandas data frame that makes our life easier to use NumPy and Matplotlib libraries. So first thing what I'm doing is I'm converting the dictionary to a data frame. So I'm calling pandas dot data frame, and I'm passing my dictionary. And while passing my dictionary, I'm also passing my column names equals to this. Let's say you don't pass these column names. You are just passing the dictionary, and then after that you are printing the data frame. Let's say this and this. Now this is what the data frame looks like. By default, it has automatically identified that the column names are this and this. So you don't need to explicitly mention columns equals to year and exchange rate, right? But in some cases where it is not able to identify the columns, to make sure it does a good job, you mention your column names here. Okay, what if you mention your column name as year 1 or year and exchange rate, ex rate? And in that case, what it is doing is it is interpreting this column, which is the second column, as ex rate, but the numbers are nan. Why? Because it is not able to find this particular column. So either you keep it empty or keep it exactly the name like it is defined in the dictionary. So if I do this, done, done, and it is able to interpret the data. Now this is a data frame. If you want to type, see the type of this is a pandas data frame, because we have created this using pd.dataframe. Simple. Now after this, my data frame is ready. Let's say instead of this you are using a file. How do we use that file and create a data frame out of it? It's very simple. You need to call pd.readcsv or pd.readexcel. So this is the command that you use, which I am not running it. This is just for your sake of interest. If you are using an existing file, then you can use it. For an example, if you want me to use one of my existing files, let me just quickly find a file and then I will try to use it. Okay, I have already got churn modeling. Let's say new df equals to pd.read.csv. I have churn modeling .csv. Okay, it's not able to run because of this /. I will just change it to /, and done. It is able to read it. Now if you want to see what exactly is this, you can simply do dot head, and this is my data, right? So here I'm just removing this because I don't want to use an existing file. We will use some predefined data to interpret and create some plots. Now the first thing is, I already have my data frame. df.head is basically having year and exchange rate, right? Now the first plot is df.plot. So I'm plotting the data frame.plot. What is my x? X is year. What is my y? Y is exchange rate. Kind equals to bar. So I want a bar chart, and then I'm doing plt.show. If I run this, you can see this is how my graph looks like. What if I do area? You can see area chart. What if I do line? You can see a line chart. Simple. I will create different cells for that so that you can run them and practice it. Now this is an area chart, and I will create for a bar chart as well. Okay, where is bar chart? This one is bar chart. Now let's say you want a bar chart, horizontal bar chart, like now it is like this, you want like this. You can simply do bar h. Once you do it, you can see horizontal bar chart. Okay, now the next activity is, again I'm creating a new dictionary here, year and exchange rates. Here I'm doing the same activity. I don't know why it is a repetitive activity. Okay, so what I'm trying to show here is, I have the data, which is a dictionary data, converting the data into a pandas data frame, and then I'm plotting a bar chart. Here you can see I'm using the same command to create a scatter plot. You can easily use the same command here, sorry, from here, and then instead of bar chart, let's say you want scatter. You can see scatter plots are ready. So same line of code you are using again and again. If I just minimize it, you can see same piece of code. The only change is here, kind equals to line equals to area equals to bar equals to bar edge equals to scatter. Okay, simple. Now moving on to the next activity, everything remains same here. Okay, one more technique. You can see here I have the scatter plot. Simple. Instead of this, I can also run a scatter plot like this. So here what I'm doing is I'm calling the data frame dot plot. Data frame dot plot is nothing but the pandas dot plot method. So pandas also has a dot plot method. Here I'm not using matplotlib, but here I'm using matplotlib. I'm using matplotlib dot scatter. So the difference between this and this is just uh, the 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 code. That's it. The orientation of the code. Nothing much. Here when I'm defining data frame dot plot, I'm calling my x, I'm calling my y, I'm passing kind equals to scatter. But here I already have a scatter method inside your matplotlib. So if you run this, so it's up to you. You can do some visualizations using pandas library, using matplotlib libraries, or using seaborn libraries. It's up to you. Nobody will ask you or question you why have you used matplotlib, why have you used scatter plots, sorry, why have you used seaborn libraries. It's up to you. If you are the developer, you are the one who are analyzing this data, it's up to you how you are visualizing it, because these visualizations are only meant for you to analyze the data. Once we analyze data, once we have done our overall analysis, then we start creating dashboards, which we use some other tools like Power BI, Tableau, or Excel to create some dashboards. So that is not in the scope of this program, but in this program we shall be learning about the visualization techniques using various Python libraries. Now after this, these are very simple piece of codes. Here I'm importing my matplotlib. I have my x and y values, and here I'm doing plt.scatter xy. Done. Now if I do the same technique using pandas, how can we do that? Let's say this is my x and y. Now I can define this x as one of the columns as my pandas data frame, and then you can use data frame dot plot, and then you can call your x and y. Or else I will try to call no, it's not possible. I have to create a data frame. Well, I don't want to complicate things right now, so let's just use what is there in this code. Kind of lost. Okay, so here we are. After the scatter plots, I will just remove this. After the scatter plots, our next task is to plot a pie chart. So here I am using the pandas.plot.py, y equals to tasks. If I run this, okay, this is failing. This one, sorry, my tasks was not defined. So I have data equals to tasks 100, 500, and 300. I'm creating data frame out of this data dictionary. Df equals to pd dot data frame, data, columns equals to tasks, index equals to blah blah blah, right? That means this is for pending, this is for completed, and this is for ongoing. And then I am plotting my df dot plot, and this is how my graph looks like. Okay, what is df? Df is nothing but my tasks. If you don't define the indexes, let's say I don't define my indexes, here my indexes are using the default indexes 0, 1, and 2. Now if I do df, I can see tasks like this. Okay, now our next task is to use an existing file. So this file I was just using right now, so I'll just copy paste my path. Okay, I already have this churn modeling here, which looks like this. This is one of my data sets that I have, and I will be using this data set to read the data using pandas data frame. And then once I have read it using the pandas data frame, we will be performing some visualization techniques. So the data is like this. We have row number, customer ID, surname, credit score, geography, gender, age, tenure, balance, number of products. All these are different columns that we have, right? And the data points, you can see I have different customers data. So I don't know the exact numbers, but I think there are 7,000 records in this particular data. Let me just scroll it and check it out. Oh, we have 10,000 records. Okay. So here I'm calling the pd.read CSV. I hope everybody knows that this is how we read a CSV file using pandas. So once my data frame is ready, I am doing dot head to print the first 5 records, dot tail to print the last 5 records. Okay, see here my data frame name is churndf. What I'm doing here is churndf dot geography. Let's say, you can see this is how the data looks like. My geography has various values: France, Spain, France, France, Spain, and so many other values. Let's say you want to find what are the total number of records that we have for each geography. Now, when it comes to SQL, how to solve this? Select geography, count star from table name, group by geography. This is what we do in SQL, right? So in Python, what we will do is dot geography dot value counts. So value counts is one of the methods where it will give you how many value counts do we have for each valid values in that column. So churndf.geography.value counts has these many: 5,000 France records, 2,500 people staying in Germany, and 2,477 people staying in Spain. Now I'm going to plot data from this. Simply what I can do is dot plot. Now if I'm doing dot plot, by default it is doing a line chart. So here I will change kind equals to bar h. Now this is my new graph that has been created. And you can see same thing you are getting. See, you are getting the same information here also, but this is a better way of getting the information, right? Whenever you are creating a presentation or a report, let's say your manager asks you to create a report out of the insights. Whatever insights you get, create a report out of it. Now you cannot create reports on text data, right? Your report should have some visual data, and in order to perform that visualization, you need some libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn, and so many things. Moving ahead, I'm finding the value counts for the exited column. What is exited column? Exited basically tells you whether the customer is active or not. 1 means the customer has left the system, and 0 means the customer is active in the system. So how many exited records do we have? If I run this, you can see around 7,900 people have left the company, and 2,000 have left the company, and 7,900 are still active. How to find the total percentage of people who have left the company? I just divided it by the total length and then multiply with 100. So you can see 79.63% of the people are still active, and 20% of the people have left the organization. Here I'm calling the matplotlib.bar to plot the bar chart. I'm calling plt.bar. I am passing geography, and I am passing estimated salary.mean. Color equals to cyan, that means the bar color. The edge color equals to orange, that means the edge color. You can simply remove all these things and try it out. It's very simple to plot charts using Matplotlib. So this plot will basically show you geography in your x-axis, because by default the first attribute is your x-axis. By default your second attribute is your y-axis. So the main idea from this graph is you can easily interpret that, oh, the estimated salary mean, the mean estimated salary for each geographical location is almost same, right? That's the main idea. Here I'm doing the same, gender versus geography versus estimated salary, gender versus age. These are very simple things to do. You can see. Similarly, I'm doing it for gender versus age. Now, I'm doing a scatter plot between age and tenure. Now, I hope everybody knows what is a scatter plot. Scatter plots are nothing but when we analyze scatter plots, Matplotlib. Okay, when we analyze multiple numerical columns, then we use scatter plots. Okay, so it's when we analyze multiple numerical columns, then we analyze using scatter plots. So it basically helps you understand what is the relationship between various attributes. Okay, so here I'm using age and tenure as my scatter plots. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. Okay, here I'm plotting a histogram. I'm plotting a histogram on the tenure. What is tenure? If you type tenure, these are my tenure. That means how long the customer is in the system. The customer is 2 years old in the system, 1 year old. This customer is 10 years in the system. That means he is a customer since last 10 years, right? So in this step, what I'm doing is I'm plotting churn tenure bins equals to 30. That means I want a bin of 30, and then I'm plotting it. My y label is probability and my x label is tenure. Similarly, let's try to see how to plot a pie chart. I have defined my labels, I have defined my sizes, I have defined my explode labels. Here I'm defining my subplots. So what is a subplot? Whenever you are plotting a plot, if you define subplots, that means two plots within a same plot or multiple plots within a plot. That means it is called as subplots. Okay, so here I'm calling ax1 dot pi on what the size is equals to this, explode equals to explode labels, which is this, labels equals to labels, which is this, shadow equals to true, strangle equals to 90. If I run this, this is how it is. If you define the explode labels as 0 0 0, that means there are no exploding happening here. If you want explode at Java, you want Java to be a separate entity, 0.2. If you run this, you can see Java is coming out of the pie. That means this entire object, the JavaScript, R and Python is one chart and Java is another chart. These are two different subplots within one plot. Okay. Similarly, if I am plotting a box plot, data frame dot column dot plot dot box. What is a box plot? Box plot. So box plot is a very simple, I will explain, box and whisker plot. Matplotlib. So when I start talking about different plots, different charts, it will take a lot of time to complete and understand these concepts, but I will make sure I will help you out in understanding a box plot. Now box plot has 5 important measures. One is Q1, which is quartile 1, which is 25th percentile, Q3, which is 75th percentile, minimum value, maximum value, and the median value. Box plot helps you to understand 5 measures. So whenever you are analyzing a numerical column, you can analyze using a box plot. It gives you more information. Dot describe basically helps you to describe the statistical information. For tenure, what will be described? The minimum value is this, the maximum value is this. I hope you understood the basic concepts of Matplotlib and you understood how to plot histograms, bar charts, pie charts, and stuffs like that. It's all about practicing. There is a small meme I will be showing you. Name a better trio. Well, there is a meme. Name a better trio. I will wait. So the better trio, the best trio in terms of data science or data analytics is import numpy as np, import pandas as pd, import matplotlib as plt. That's it. Now I'm not sure if you will be able to understand this meme or not, but I'm sure once you get started your journey with Python, with data science, the more you learn, the more you practice, and then you come back to this Matplotlib uh, Python Jupyter notebook file, and then you will understand this meme. That's all about Matplotlib. Keep practicing. The more you practice, the more understanding you will have, more clear understanding you will have. That's it for this video on Matplotlib. In the next video, we shall be talking about we shall be talking about Seaborn libraries and some other libraries. Thank you.